Ever since the 2025 Elimination Chamber when Mr. John Cena decided to turn heel, everybody's been wondering whether or not that man's going to turn back to being a face, and I think I've found the answer to all that. My name is Will. I'm half of the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling podcast, but we will be split up for a while because I'll be in Germany, so we got to figure out how to do this stuff solo for a little bit. With that said, please still check out Brandon's live streams for Raw, SmackDown, and support the podcast as a whole because that man will be carrying the load while I am gone. When looking at the John Cena face turn, I do think that we have to rewind all the way to WrestleMania 41 or even prior to that to see the motives as to why John Cena turned heel because I think they'll be important when it comes to his face turn. After John Cena seemingly aligned with Mr. Dwayne Johnson, the bald man himself, he came out on Raw during some promo battles with Cody Rhodes leading up to their WrestleMania 41 match, and he explained that he turned for a few reasons. One of those reasons was that he's done with living up to the crowd hype, basically. He's done giving us all what we want because what do we get? What do we get? That's all what we ask him whenever he does anything in his entire career. When he turned heel, the internet was all about, well, what are we going to get? New music, new merch. Is he going to come to my town? Well, John Cena came out on Monday and said, well, you get nothing, so don't look forward to any of it. On top of that, he also said that he was going to ruin wrestling by winning the belt at WrestleMania 41. He's going to take that thing all the way to December when he retires in his farewell tour, and that man was or is going to retire with the belt and basically cancel the WWE timeline as is after that. He said that we'd have to go buy a toy belt like the rest of us, and I was like, yep, I spend too much on those toy belts, but that was John Cena's motives. He was going to take the belt, and he was going to retire with that damn thing, and there was nothing anybody can do about it. On top of that, he would also put up a countdown timer every time he came out, or not every time, but every once in a while he'd come out and count down every single one of his dates to give us the doom clock as is. Then WrestleMania 41 came around, and we were all there. Cody Rhodes wouldn't make the decision to smack him with the title, and John Cena was able to overcome Cody Rhodes with the help of Mr. Fiend Man Travis Scott, and he walked out the 17-time World Heavyweight Champion. Ever since then, the heel turn, in my opinion, has been absolutely phenomenal. We've been getting some of the most crazy rivalries rebuilt from the ground up with John Cena being the heel. We got ourselves Randy Orton in St. Louis. Me and Brandon, we got to be there, and it was absolutely phenomenal watching Randy RKO everybody. Seeing that was absolutely great with John Cena as a heel. We've gotten R-Truth. He's come up, and now he got cut after the John Cena thing, but it got him so much steam that he was able to return, and now he's doing the Raw and Killing stuff, which is absolutely the best. We did throw in some Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes stuff in there just to bring in more good promo work to try to build John Cena up as being a huge heel. And now, of course, we got ourselves some of the best work of Cena's career, in my opinion, with the Cena, CM Punk, pipe bomb stuff. That being said, King and Queen of the Ring or Night of Champions is this weekend, and if you're watching this afterward, hopefully everything goes down correctly because I have a bunch of predictions that kind of are predicated on who wins that King of the Ring tournament. Because I do think Cody Rhodes is going to defeat Randy Orton, become King of the Ring, and that's going to set himself up for a title match against Mr. John Cena come SummerSlam this year. It is going to be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena round 2, and I think they're going to walk the same story beats as they did prior, but things may go sideways this time. When I say story beats, I mean that John Cena on their build up to WrestleMania 41 did lay out the groundwork of, hey, Cody, you can beat me at WrestleMania 41, but you're going to have to get your hands very, very dirty. And that moment did end up coming at WrestleMania. Because during the match, Cody Rhodes had the belt in his hand. He could have used it to defeat Mr. John Cena, hit him over the top of the head with it, and bang, bang, he would have remained champion, saved wrestling right there in its tracks. But instead, we all know what happened. Cody wouldn't do it for some reason, even though he just put Kevin Owens through a ladder like a month prior to that. Yeah, that led to John Cena hitting him with the title, kicking him in the nuts, and getting himself a 17 World Championship. So now we fast forward to what's going to be probably the SummerSlam main event, two-night SummerSlam this year of John Cena, Cody Rhodes round 2, and I think that's exactly what they're going to say again. I think John Cena is going to look Cody Rhodes in the eye and say, bro, you couldn't do it the first time, and I don't think you're going to be able to do it a second time because when that moment shows up in that ring, you aren't going to make the tough decision. That's when the fork in the road happens, and I think that WWE can either lay out one of two separate pathways for the rest of John Cena's farewell tour. One pathway is going to be John Cena gets the win over Cody Rhodes again. Maybe Travis Scott shows up. Maybe The Rock decides to show up to work for once in a while and try to insert himself back into this storyline, and they end up getting John Cena the win once again. If this is the way we go, then I do see John Cena going the entire route the rest of his farewell tour being a heel, and we're going to fight the countdown clock, right? The story from SummerSlam to the end is going to be the clock's getting lower, John Cena remains champion, who in the world is going to come and save wrestling for the rest of us and take that title back from John Cena? But that leads us to the other path, which would be Cody Rhodes taking the belt off of John Cena at SummerSlam this year. But I think that in order to do that, something crazy might have to happen. This is where I would do the John Cena face turn if it's going to play out like this. I think Cody Rhodes is going to be given the decision to do the dirty thing once again, and this time, I think the man's going to take it. Whether that be something as simple as we have him standing in the ring with the title again as a weapon, ready to hit John Cena, and he does do that, or something even crazier, maniacal happens, and Rock shows up, and Cody Rhodes does end up selling his soul to The Rock. Either way, I think this will be the beginning of Cody Rhodes and John Cena flip-flopping their roles in the WWE for the next few months. And when you think about it, it does make sense on Cody Rhodes' side of things, because no one understands the what do we get more than Cody Rhodes, honestly. If you look at the past few years of WrestleManias alone, the story has really been Cody Rhodes. Finish the story. You look at WrestleMania 38, he returns. 39, he comes up a little short against Roman Reigns. And then WrestleMania 40, the entire thing was finish the story, Mr. Cody Rhodes. But then what happened the second Cody Rhodes won that damn title at WrestleMania? We got ourselves a Cody Rhodes title reign, and all of a sudden the narrative behind who Cody Rhodes is and what his story is and whether or not people like him started to kind of shift a little bit. Sure, you have people woeing, the arenas absolutely love him, but over the internet, the IWC, whatever you want to call us, everybody was kind of doing the whole, what do we get? What do we get? I want more. I want more. I want more. This all honestly came to fruition at WrestleMania 41 when John Cena walked into this thing as what was supposed to be a super duper heel. And that man got cheered over Cody Rhodes the entire time. This has continued, and even at their Money in the Bank match when it was Cena and Logan Paul, which you thought would be the easiest cop-out for a John Cena booing by a crowd ever, still didn't happen. The crowd is going to cheer John Cena kind of no matter what he does, no matter what his role is going to be. So getting back to SummerSlam in this fantasy booked madness, Cody Rhodes is going to kind of look around and go, well, I don't really care about what the people say anymore. I want that championship back. It's mine. You stole it, and I'll do whatever I can do in order for it to be mine again. When this happens, I think that we get the John Cena slow turn to being a babyface. I think Cena is going to be able to take a step back, and he's going to put his old pump up kicks back on and realize, oh crap, that's exactly what I did. And that kind of sucks. John Cena is going to be able to sit there and realize that that was the monster that he had become. He's going to watch as Cody Rhodes comes out, cuts those promos against the crowd. When he does say things like, I won the championship and saved us from the bloodline, and what did I get? A bunch of fans booing me in every arena I went into. You guys deserve nothing. I got my title back in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not sorry for it. And of course, if you want to add The Rock selling the soul thing, which I don't think is going to happen, but we may as well add that layer on to this ridiculous fantasy booking as is. If you want to layer that piece on top of it, then you could just say John Cena looks at it and be like, well, that's even more stupid. Why did I do that? So now you're going into this with John Cena being able to take a full step back, realize the monster he became. You give him a little under 5 months to kind of make it up to the crowd with whatever feuds you want to do. He's going to interact with Cody Rhodes still afterward. And now John Cena's mission will be completely flip-flopped as to what it was prior to WrestleMania 41. Because now it won't be about getting that title back in order to ruin wrestling. It will be about getting that title back in order to save wrestling and return Cody Rhodes to being, well, the next John Cena. And that line of the next John Cena equaling Cody Rhodes is something important, I think, and why this works so well if you think about it. I don't think that there's a time to turn Cody Rhodes heel realistically within the next few years, because this man is such a big baby face and is kind of this generation's version of what John Cena was. He's the top merch seller. He walks to the ring and hugs babies. I mean, he's the guy. He's the baby face. He's the stereotypical babyface WWE, everybody loves him guy. When you are that guy and you're sitting on top of the company, especially at the time he is now and making all that money getting in merch, there really isn't a good time to turn heel because you have to cut all that revenue off. But if you want to do it, when can you do it? You run it parallel with one of the biggest baby faces of all time, Mr. John Cena, who's going to have 5 solid months, a little bit underneath after SummerSlam, of being able to be a babyface. So you have John Cena step back into the babyface role, and then you have Cody Rhodes step into the heel role for the farewell tour. What I would love to see is basically Cody Rhodes having the exact same heel run as John Cena did. You could have Randy Orton come out and be like, dude, we fought at King of the Ring. We shook each other's hands. We've been friends this entire time. Hell, we both stood up to John Cena during his heel run. What the hell are you doing? Who are you turning into? Look at yourself. So you could have Cody Rhodes run Randy Orton. Hell, you could have Cody Rhodes run Ron Killings, run R-Truth. That would keep this new amazing, crowd behind R-Truth role that he's now taking on in the main title scene once again. So you would continue his theme as well. I see that as a win. And then of course you'd have Jey Uso coming out and trying to be like, Cody, look, you are literally doing what John Cena just did. What the hell are you doing, man? And if you wanted to, you could throw CM Punk on there. I do think CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes will be WrestleMania, but if you wanted to, you could do that as well. Either way, I think that mirroring John Cena's heel run, but it being Cody Rhodes, would be such a cool way to tell this story of John Cena being able to reflect on what he did post Elimination Chamber 2025 and him just sitting there and be like, oh my God, what did I create? What did I do? Look at all my past mistakes. Look at what's happening now because of them. I have to stop this man. And then on top of that, we could sit here and fantasy book what those 4.5 months from SummerSlam to the final match looks like. I would say that all those things that I just said about the mirroring John Cena's heel run sound fantastic, but he's also Cody Rhodes, who's interacted with tons of people. You could throw Sami Zayn in there. You could throw Drew McIntyre in there. You could throw LA Knight in there. It doesn't really matter. Cody Rhodes is phenomenal at being a heel. If you haven't seen him before, he's pretty damn good at this stuff. I think it all comes to fruition around Survivor Series because I do believe Survivor Series is early December, which will be around the time that John Cena's last match is at. But I think that the storytelling around that point in this whole thing will be that the armor is starting to crack for Cody Rhodes. You're going to have people like Randy, Sammy, all these people that I just said, plus John Cena coming out on a weekly basis telling him, dude, look at you, what have you become? You didn't come back to the WWE, save us from Roman Reigns, all because of this. I know I'm talking about Cody Rhodes a lot, but I just think that he's such a pivotal part of this John Cena face turn that I want to see, that we have to kind of tell the story through him because he is really going to be the guy that gets catapulted through all this at the end, even though it's technically John Cena's farewell tour. We then come all the way to the final match, that is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I still think that's going to be a thing, and I think it will be for the WWE Championship. So we'll go into that Saturday Night Main Event, or whatever they're wanting to call it, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes in Boston. Cena's final match. Can Cena do right and make up for all of his past mistakes by beating Cody Rhodes and winning the WWE Championship? This is probably where I'm going to lose a lot of people, or at least I'm going to get the most backlash, because I do think that if you round out this story that I have stupidly booked in my head and talked myself into, well, you got to have John Cena win his final match and become WWE champion. I'm one of those people that don't like that idea. I think that I'm a traditionalist. I think that all wrestlers should go out on their back. It's a very tried and true tradition in wrestling, and I do think that's what most people should do. Storyline wise, though, I think that John Cena winning the championship here would make the most sense. Hear me out. Throughout the match, I do think that we would come back to that whole point that we had at WrestleMania 41 and what I assume is going to happen at SummerSlam this year. There's going to be that moment where Cody Rhodes has to do something terrible in order to defeat John Cena. Except this time, I think that the armor is going to finally crack off of Cody Rhodes, and that the 4.5 months prior of interacting with a bunch of people talking about his heel turn is going to get to him, and Cody is not going to do it. He's not going to be able to do the dirty thing to defeat John Cena, especially in his final match. Couple this with, I think John Cena will be on his knee saying, they'll be making cinema basically. Cena will be begging him, saying, this isn't you, look at this crowd, this is your future, you are supposed to be me, you're supposed to be light side. The whole Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader thing, let's just do it here, right? If you do this, then I think that Cody Rhodes decides to not use whatever he's going to do in order to defeat John Cena the dirty way. And where does this lead? This leads to John Cena defeating Cody Rhodes in his final match and winning an 18th World Championship. Why do I think this works? I think that it rounds the entire story out as a whole if you do it this way. Because once again, if you look all the way back to what he decided to start this whole heel turn with, the what do we get? I hate all you fans now. I'm going to take your championship from you forever, and I'm going to ruin wrestling. Well, If he wins a championship here, I think he has the opportunity to literally flip all that on its head. Because he would be champion and he would be retiring, and I think he would decide to relinquish the title. Not only would he relinquish the title, but he would also be returning Cody Rhodes to being the babyface that he truly is. He would have Cody Rhodes see the light. How does this work? Well, what do we get? We get Cody Rhodes back. He is now saved wrestling by establishing the future babyface, the future superhero, the future John Cena of the WWE. He's giving that back to the crowd. He's saying, I saved you, Mr. Cody Rhodes. Please come back and whoa, give us some pyro. Let's do this. Whoa. Not only that, but he would be relinquishing the title and giving it back to the WWE for the future generations to obviously hold and for us to have a championship in this WWE universe that we love so much, which is exactly the opposite of what he wanted to do at the beginning, where he said, I was going to take that title, kill the timeline that is the WWE championship, and walk away with a big F you to all of us in the crowd. I just feel like that'd be a great little bow to wrap on the whole thing. It would really be a full circle moment. I think that we would get a lot of good things out of this. We would have gotten a John Cena heel turn. We would have gotten a John Cena babyface turn from being a heel. We would have gotten Cody Rhodes getting a short period of being a heel, which would make sense because John Cena would run parallel to him the whole time as a big time babyface. And then we get a payoff where babyface Cody would feel new and refreshing again after not seeing him for a few months, and we would get John Cena walking away with while also rocketing this new babyface Cody Rhodes into the atmosphere. So once again, while I don't like the idea of John Cena not going out on his back, I just think that this story would really work with him standing tall at the very end, and all these story plot points would be all wrapped around with a cute little bow, and tears would be running down my face. Not only that, but you'd have babyface Cody. You'd have a relinquished title that would need a good old-fashioned tournament, or maybe we could throw it at the Royal Rumble like we've done a few times, and everybody gets to fight for it in the Royal Rumble. But it'd be a good, fun thing to have in January come WrestleMania season of we need a new champion. Who in the hell is going to headline WrestleMania 42? Oh my God, John Cena's gone now. What do we do? Well, at least you have a red-hot new babyface Cody Rhodes going into WrestleMania season, which sounds mighty fine to me. So if you ask me, this is the right way to do it. Now, you could just have John Cena get beat clean at SummerSlam and be like, yeah, I was being a dick. That'd work fine by me as well. But, overbooked fantasy booking nonsense, it's what I'm here for. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about a John Cena face turn, how you guys would do a John Cena face turn, and if this whole solo man setup ended up working out, because I miss my buddy Brandon. Speaking of Brandon, make sure to keep supporting him on the podcast that he's putting out, because once again, I'm out of town and he's carrying this entire thing on his back doing phenomenal work. I give him 2 claps and a salute. Thank you so much, Mr. Brandon. For everything, of course, it's at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It's got everything there. Be looking forward to all of our Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, live streams, all of it. We genuinely love having you guys here, and we'll see you next time. I'm Will. I miss Brandon. Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.